All right, welcome back everyone to part 4, I think we're on, of the Cleanse and Detox series we're doing on the Be Healthy and Thrive podcast. I'm Brianna Wilkerson, your host of this podcast. I'm holistic health and life coach and essential oils advocate. And joining me again is Hannah Parker, thyroid nutrition coach from Holistic Thyroid Solutions. And we are just going to talk about two of our favorite topics today. Actually, all of these are our favorite topics, but digestion and toxic load, and just why that both of those are really important in regards to getting, one, how much toxins we take in, but how actually getting rid of toxins. So we and Hannah were talking earlier, you can't really talk about digestion without talking about the excretion system. Hannah and I love the body systems, anatomy. Mm-hmm. It's just something we like. And so, but we think we need to talk about that. So I guess I'll just start off with just talking about the digestion and a little bit around the importance of it. And just kind of, Hannah could jump in too, but just our digestive system, our gut is 60 to 80% of our immune system. So what we put in our gut is going to help our immune system fight off the things it needs to fight off. When we're not fueling our gut those proper things, it can't do its job. And there are so many other things about the gut, but definitely one of the key things, and I know Hannah's going to get into this, is bacteria. And our microbiome is what is, the gut flora or the good bacteria within our stomach. So when most people think of bacteria, they're like, gross, bad. Yes, there's bad bacteria, but there's good bacteria. And I'll let Hannah start to talk about some natural ways to kind of get that. Then I'll continue on with that.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, so I feel like probiotics have been, like, most people know or just have heard how beneficial they are. I feel like I get questions all the time, like, what's a good probiotic to take? Which one should I take? And deciphering through all the supplements. And I do think that, I honestly believe that a probiotic supplement is more important than a multivitamin, but that's kind of a side thing. But I also think that there are other ways to get probiotics in your system, and often more effective ways than just taking a supplement. So I personally take a probiotic supplement because I just want to make sure that I'm getting as much, like, a broad spectrum of good bacteria that I can. So I do take a daily probiotic, and I alternate between different brands. It's good to kind of switch it up so you're getting a variety of the bacteria strains. But I also make sure that I'm getting it through my food. And when I mention this to people, most people are aware that yogurt has probiotics, and some people are aware that sauerkraut, like not pasteurized, it's on the shelf, but like real sauerkraut has probiotics, and it does. And I personally like the taste. I've learned to like the taste, but I also understand that is kind of an acquired taste and maybe a taste that you will never acquire. So I like to give people options. There's, like, I don't know why it's not widely known that there are, like, so many other ways to get probiotics through your diet. So I've been kind of tinkering with these personally and trying out different ways, different foods in this area. So I'll just kind of share a couple of those. But obviously, if you have questions about how to make those, where to get them, then ask me, because I'm super obsessed with this at the moment. So for me, I take a probiotic, and then I've also been trying to make different, like, you can it's called lacto fermentation, and it's so simple. Like, I've started with carrots. I buy a big bag of carrots, and I can almost do a demonstration for you in like 2 minutes here. Like, this isn't a mason jar, but you would take a mason jar, you would chop up carrots, and then you fill it with water and put a portion of salt, like high quality sea salt, in there as a brine. And it inhibits like bad bacteria from growing. And then you basically, you seal it up. You want to have a good system for that. And I can tell you more about that if you have questions about that. But, and then you let it sit, you let it ferment for a certain period of time, depending on the vegetable, depending on the food. It's different time frames. But basically, while it's sitting there, it's growing all this good bacteria, feeding off of what's already on the vegetable. And the crazy thing is that those carrots end up being crispier and tastier and sweeter after the fermentation process. Like, they don't get wilty and gross and weird and moldy. That doesn't happen. The opposite happens if you make them correctly or purchase them from a good source. So I've just found, you could add different flavors in there. Like, you can add herbs and spices and make it good. You can lacto ferment salsa, ketchup. it's crazy. Like anything that you eat, you can basically add probiotics to by doing, and it's cheap. I don't know. I could go on and on about that. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that I've done is, so I eat dairy free. And so I can't eat like cheese and things like that. So what I like is what's called seed cheese. And I don't know if this is a new concept or if that sounds gross or good to you. Personally, I've learned like it's so delicious. And so basically, you can take like sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds, and you would make almost like a pesto, and you can put different seasonings in them, and then you can either empty like a probiotic capsule into that, and then you let that sit for a certain period of time depending on what type of food you have, and it grows good probiotics. And so then that seed cheese, like I'll use that as a dip for vegetables, or I'll put it like, it could be like a sandwich spread, it could be a sauce, it could be sometimes I'll just eat it by the spoon because it tastes so good. And you're getting probiotics, and you're not having to eat, like, you don't have to eat foods that you don't like, and you don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money on probiotics. So there's so many other ways that you can get that. And so I just encourage people to do that, because it can get expensive to take. There's so many probiotics on the market that to take a low quality is kind of a waste of money. So if you're going to take a probiotic, I always recommend taking a high quality, but that can be a little bit higher in cost. So if you're supplementing that, like backwards, if you're supplementing your supplement with probiotic foods, then you can almost take that supplement every other day, or, you don't have to be paying a high monthly cost for that supplement all the time. So that's just a little secret that I've discovered, and that I love sharing. So yeah.
I'm trying both of those.
So good.
I haven't. Because it's like, I'm a kombucha person.
Yes.
I love kombucha, but I have not made it yet, and I cannot afford to buy it every day.
Yes, it's so expensive. And kombucha takes 30 days to ferment. These things take a week. So It's done in a short amount of time.
So I'm going to try that over the holidays, I think. But yeah, those are so good. And yeah, I mean, I do definitely take a probiotic. Apple cider vinegar is something that I take regularly as well. The Bragg's organic version is the one I take. But so those are great things in regards to adding that good bacteria, so our immune system can be built up. But one thing I do want to also talk about is the excretion system, and that just is getting rid of the waste that your body does not need. That is
AKA
number one and number two. Yes.
Yes.
Pee, poop. That's what it is.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about, because it's a really real thing, and people are like, and I'm very open. Well, I'm very open with certain people about it, but very open about on this right now. But and I think, because really what it is that this good bacteria is going to help our body get rid of the toxins. So what it is when you're peeing, you're getting rid of all the stuff your body doesn't need and shouldn't keep. And when you're pooping, you're doing the same, right? And if you cannot pee for different reasons, or if you can't poop, then it stays within your body. And after a while, if it keeps staying in there, the toxins could leak back into your body. And so we want to make sure our excretion system is working. And the key way to do that is through your digestive system and your urinary tract. And so one of the key things I recommend is, going back to the nutrition part, is eating more whole foods naturally and more whole foods regularly. Because these foods are in their proper state, they have the natural fiber, which we all know helps you use the bathroom. They have the natural vitamins that stimulate the digestive enzyme process to help you break down the food. Because that's another thing, is I take digestive enzymes every now and then when I really need it, because our body needs those extra enzymes to break down the food. One thing, to eat it, it needs to break it down so we can use it. And the fruits and vegetables, those things have those natural enzymes to help do that. But when you go and process a lot of your food, it takes away those enzymes. It takes away that fiber. And although something may say it's enriched and refined, they're adding back something, but it's not ever going to be the same as if you just ate the whole food. So eat more fruits and vegetables in their natural state is my key thing for that. And that will help your digestive system and help your excretion system, help your liver, and help your overall toxic load is my big tip around that. So yeah, and even going into toxic load then, Hannah, maybe share a little bit about us why about the liver, about the fat cells, all that stuff we were talking about earlier, why we want to get rid of toxins and how our body does it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess with the fat cell thing, that's a big one. Sometimes when women are trying to lose weight and they're exercising a ton and they're eating well and the weight's just not coming off, sometimes the reason is because of a toxin overload. Because what happens is if your body has a toxin, then your body is trying to protect you from that, and so it's going to create this fat cell over it to kind of like keep it in place and keep it from harming the rest of your body. And so that if you can eliminate the toxin, then those fat cells are gonna, okay, we don't need to protect it anymore. And so you're losing fat because you're losing toxins. So it's very connected. It's not just calories in, calories out for weight loss, which can be kind of a new concept sometimes. Obviously, movement is important and eating well is important, but getting rid of toxins can hinder that whole, if you're not getting rid of toxins, it can hinder your efforts. So it definitely all goes together. With, like I mentioned before, with toxins and thyroid disease, if your liver's burdened and your gut's burdened, then you're not going to convert T4 to T3. Your body's going to be inflamed. You're going to have problems. And so getting rid of toxins is just as important as getting nutrients back in. You can't really do one without the other effectively. They really work together. Like Brianna said, if it's not just what you eat, but it's what you digest and what your body uses. And if you're overloaded with toxins, then even eating well, your digestive system isn't going to break that down effectively to actually use the nutrients. So you can have nutrient deficiencies essentially because of toxins. Kind of, there's several steps to that, but so it's an overlooked thing. It's an overlooked problem, but when you address it, and there's simple ways to address it, then everything else kind of follows suit and becomes healthier as well.
There we go. That's it. And so I remember doing this essential oils for skincare class, and I studied a lot about toxins then, and just kind of wanted to share a little bit of, as Hannah was just saying, that just in the last pretty much 50, 70 years, we've been introduced to a lot more toxins because of industrialization. We now have a lot more products to do more things, whether it's skin cleaning, smelling things, and those things are great. But the issue is when they become more synthetic than natural. And a lot of things, even the organic and natural options, you just always want to check them out. That's all I'm going to say. And so one statistic that I wanted to share with you guys is that basically it shares that because of ever since the increase in toxins, so have the health issues, the chronic health issues. About 150 chemicals found in the home could be connected to stuff such as allergies, such as different disorders, could be connected to the birth defects and cancers, right? And there are more toxins in our personal care products than ever before. And so we are constantly we're putting some burden on our liver, right? And then it hides in our fat cells and slowly released into our body. And so that is why we want to cleanse and detox all the time, not just nutrition, is because we want to take care of our lives for the long haul. And so we need to reduce our toxic load. And I'll just share a little bit about some solutions that I offer around that and I recommend, and then Hannah can share a little bit about hers. But one of the main ways that I now do it is using essential oils. I use doTERRA as the company that I'm, and Hannah uses some of those oils as well. But it's really all about, looking at the quality of the oil, all those sort of things, and that's a conversation we can have. But using these natural solutions slowly but surely. So for me, I started out using it as to boost my immune system, to help with the tendinitis in my wrist, but slowly I started to research and incorporate it more. Now that it's in my lotion on my skin, I wash my face with it. I clean my bathroom with lemon and melaleuca. I do so much with the oils in every area of my health and life now, but that took 2 years to really get there. And I love sharing this with others because I truly believe even if you're just doing simple switches like that, your health can improve dramatically. And so definitely check out some resources that I'll link with this episode around that and getting support. And I would love to have a conversation if you guys are newer to it or just don't know what to do. I love educating people on it, because the saddest thing for me is to someone get this beautiful bottle of frankincense, which is right here, and to say, oh, I'm just going to leave it down right here. I'm like, no! Frankincense is the king of oils. It's so good for regeneration of cells as well. If your cells have been damaged by different toxins, frankincense is a great oil for that. And so that's just kind of something that I recommend. And I have different classes with people online and offline to say, this is how you can use it in your skin, in your home, in X, Y, and Z. So that's something that I offer my clients and those who just want to learn more. But what about you, Hannah? What are some of the things around toxic load you recommend?
Yeah, so I could go into a lot of different things with this, but I think one of the first things to start with is your water, something that we're drinking and we're showering in, we're bathing in on a daily basis. When you're showering, I think this is, a lot of people maybe have like a Brita filter or something like that, but I always recommend a little bit heavier duty one, because those, even those, like the Brita filters, they're not filtering everything out that could be harmed. There's so much stuff in tap water. It's crazy. Especially depending on where you live. It could be different from state to state, or, wherever you are. So I love I have no affiliation with this brand, but I love the Berkey brand. And, I can share a link, or you can ask me about that. Happy to give you that information. But my husband and I have been using that for like 7 years now. And it's so great. They use these charcoal filters, which activated charcoal is becoming kind of popular now to cleanse, to get rid of toxins. And they use it in hospitals when you've ingested things anyway, but it's the same idea of the charcoal cleansing those toxins out of your water. So finding and there's other good purifiers too. So finding a good water purifier is huge for your drinking water. But then also when you're in a shower, like if you think about it, the heat opens your pores up. And so your skin's absorbing like the chlorine from the water and the other things that are in that water. So your skin's absorbing it. Also, you're breathing that in through that steam. So your lungs are absorbing it. So your lungs and your skin, which are huge ways that you're absorbing things, that's happening if you're showering and you're not filtering that water. So it's so easy. I think it's called the Rain Shower brand. And it lasts like we buy it. I don't know, it's maybe like $50, but it lasts for 6 months. And then we just buy the replacement cartridge every 6 months. So we just kind of remember. And sometimes, honestly, I'll notice, we'll be like, wait, why is our hair getting dry? Why is our skin itching a little bit? Oh, it's because our chlorine, our shower filter is getting old. And then we'll switch it and it'll solve the problem. So we're actually, we can almost tell when it's time for a new one. So yeah, I would recommend finding a good drink, like purifying your drinking water and purifying the water that you're showering and bathing in. That's a good place to start.
So good. Such good recommendations. Awesome. Well, yeah. So maybe Hannah, just share with us a little bit about some of the things the different programs or freebies you have to offer around, thyroid and cleansing detoxes. Then I'll share mine, and then we'll be done for part 4.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so like I've mentioned before a little bit, I have a 30-day and then a 3-month program one-on-one for thyroid health. And we go into all these factors. We dig into your liver, your gut, your adrenal health, toxin strategies for detoxifying, thyroid nutrition 101. So what to include, what not to include, and then how to make it work for your life. Because I think like all that information, you could Google that. You could maybe find things that are good for thyroid, things that are not, but it's not the same for everybody. It's different from person to person. And so during those programs, we really dig into what would be best for you and how to make that incorporated into your lifestyle that you already have. And so I have 2 one-on-one coaching programs. I also have a thyroid, just a foundations course on holistic thyroid care. So if you're brand new to this, if you have a thyroid diagnosis or think you might, and you've never explored the holistic side, I suggest starting there. It's very affordable and it's a great way to just get exposure to other ways that you can manage your thyroid health. So those are some of the main things that I have going in 2018.
Awesome. Yeah. And then for me, my Whole30 program is always something that I recommend for those wanting to start working on their physical health in these 7 areas that we've been going through in this series. And definitely digestion is so near and dear to my heart that it's just a special place in my heart and my tummy. So it's something that I really want to help my clients through, because a lot of my clients tend to have some digestive concerns. And actually the Whole30 program as well, there are bonus sections each week around essential oils that people can go through if they want, totally up to, just because I believe there are actually essential oils and wellness products that could help in all these pillars: nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep, reducing toxic load, digestion. And I even have a bonus section on there on essential oils for digestion. So I definitely would recommend that being something, if you are watching this in the beginning of the month of January, that we're going to start on the 22nd. Enrollment kind of ends around the 17th, 18th. And, but also if you're interested in essential oils themselves, I do both those, the coaching and the oils. So definitely check out the links around those in there. And that's kind of it for me. You know, we're wrapping up part 4. This has been so fun. But definitely check out all the links that we mentioned, guys, and stay tuned for the final part next week, which is about mindset and habits and other areas of your life. All right. Have a good one. Bye.